Good evening, everyone. And I see that many of you are still joining the Masterclass webinar. So we'll wait for some time. In meantime, can you guys please let me know if you can hear me? And if my screen is visible? You guys can let me know in the question and answer session and section, and also through the emojis. It would be great if you guys can just confirm if you can hear me and if my screen is visible. Thank you, guys. I started getting the responses, and yeah, I see that the emojis, the reaction section is also enabled, so you can also show your activeness or your engagement interaction sessions through the emojis. So we'll wait for 5 more minutes. In the meantime, people who have joined the webinar, I would like to know where are you from, and if you're existing Emergee student or intern, or if you're new to the Emergee environment, you can also type as newbie in the question and answer section. Okay, Sangeeta is telling she's newbie, and I would also like to know where are you from, Sangeeta? Sai Reddy is telling he's from Andhra Pradesh and he's Emergee student. Good to know. And Rohit is telling he's from Haryana and he's a newbie. And also, guys, if you're new to our Emergee environment, it would be great if you could let us know how did you find out about our masterclass webinar, for example, through a friend or through social media, or your friend who's studying in Emergee student referred you or something like that. Sangeeta is from Agra. Nice to know, Sangeeta. And I see Emergee student from Kerala. He's not given his name. Nice to know. Okay, Aditya wants to have.
Kavya, are you able to hear me?
Yes, Shashidhar. Thank you. And our speaker is already there.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I'll introduce myself. I'll talk about Emergee and I'll hand over the webinar to you, sir.
Sure. Go ahead, Kavya, please.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Few of you guys are telling that you got to know about our masterclass webinar through Emergee Instagram profile. Nice to know. Jai Prakashan from Chennai is in final year Triple E. Nice to know. Mohit from Maharashtra and he's a newbie. Okay. Chef. Is my screen not visible? Am I audible now? I got few responses telling that I'm not audible. All right. Thank you for the confirmation, Kuldeep Singh. And Qureshi is from Maharashtra, audible. Thank you, Rohit. And I would love the responses coming in. Okay, my screen is not visible. Let me try sharing the screen again. All right.
Kavya, I'm not
Yes.
able to, share my desktop.
Sir, that is because right now I am sharing the screen, sir. So once I finish sharing this, I will give you the access to share your desktop, sir.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much. Oh, go ahead, Kavya. Sure.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Prasad Reddy is from Andhra Pradesh, current Emergee student. Nice to know. And how was your Ganesha Chaturthi celebration, guys? The festival is passed by, and advance happy Onam to the guys who are celebrating Onam as well. All right, guys, it's 7:03. I think we can go ahead and start with the masterclass webinar. So, welcome you all to the masterclass webinar from Emertxe. This is season 4 and webinar 1. We have been running several masterclass webinars. We have completed 3 seasons earlier. So, the season 1 was something in emerging tech. Okay, so we had various speakers like CP Ravi Kumar, Jiddu Mohan, and Hari Krishnan giving various talks on the technology, like basically Linux and the drones and all those. So after that, we had workshop series in season 2, where our technical head Mubin sir had given the hands-on workshop series, like for example, debugging using GDP and all those things. And we had that as a different set of webinars in season 2. And coming to season 3, that was a very close season for us, where we had invited our alumni, Emerge's alumni students, as speakers, and they shared their experience, how was the course and how it helped them to transform their careers. And this is the season 4, and we have again the technology series right now going on. And today's speaker we have Shashidhara Basavegowda sir. And let me just give you guys a brief introduction, and then I'll hand over the session to our speaker. And you guys can collate all the questions every half an hour. Once I'll be interrupting, and I'll be reading out your questions to the speaker so that he can answer all your doubts. So moving on to the next slide, as you know, we are an edtech company. So what problem we are basically solving is the employability problem. Again, we have two different segments when it comes to employability. We have courses, embedded systems, IoT, and we have also started with full stack web development courses, our sister concern WSA, that is Web Stack Academy. So the major problem we are solving here is employability, be it the fresh engineering graduates who have just passed out from their college, who would want to get placed in their core domain, that is embedded systems domain or IoT. So who would want to get placed in the core domain, we help them out, like we train them, we give them the placement opportunities. And there is also another segment of people who are currently working already, but they are not happy with their jobs. For example, we can see a triple E engineer who's still working in an IT firm, but he would badly want to work in a core domain job, correct? He would want to work in embedded systems or IoT. So we would help them also upskill themselves through our courses, and then we will provide the placement opportunities. So this is the main problem that we are solving today. As we know, every year we have 30 lakh engineering graduates uh, graduating from engineering colleges. So we are into basically solving the employability issue. And as you see on the previous slide, I also told you guys that we are helping students to get placed in the core domain. Here are snapshots of few placement clients. We have three different types of clients. Again, we have MNCs, mid-sized companies, and startup companies. As you see in the first slide, we have Qualcomm, who recently hired two of our students for their company. And Qualcomm is like all the way in the air, guys, like Qualcomm and embedded system, right? There's some correlation, like Qualcomm hires all trained embedded engineers. So recently we had two trainees from Emertxe, like they got trained through Emertxe program, and they got hired to Qualcomm. And Chelsea is a frequent placement client. And as I told, we have companies, MNCs, from MNCs, startups, and mid-size. And we help our students get placed to them. We have overall 1,200 plus placement clients. And going to the next slide, why do we host this masterclass webinar? What is the whole reason for us to host this masterclass webinar? So from Emertxe's perspective, again, we have two different types of webinars. One is course demo webinar, and the other one is masterclass webinar, which is organized today. So the course demo webinar is basically giving you guys a clear picture of what is our course about, our placement journey of our students who have taken up the course and all those. It will give a clear cut idea with the industry trends and all those. Whereas coming to masterclass webinars, as you see in the slide with 2M and M. So basically we have this webinars for mentoring as well as for the motivation purpose. Whereas see, both the M and M is directly proportional. If there's only mentoring and there's no motivation for you guys, it's not possible to learn. That is what we believe in. By inviting the industry experts, what will happen is they will share their experience. They'll also mentor you talking on the technologies, whereas they'll also help motivate you guys by telling what they went through, how did they come up, how was their journey, career journey, and all those. So the main motive of our masterclass webinar is to mentor you guys and also to motivate you guys in the same. And moving on to the next slide, always we have excitement in the end. So we'll also have quiz. I'll announce the quiz towards the end of our webinar. So as you see, this is a snapshot of our quiz winners where we announce on Instagram, our Instagram page. So if you're one among the quiz winners, our team will be sending out a form to you. You can fill in the form and we will be announcing the quiz winners like this. We will tag you on Instagram for sure. You can also post it on your wall. Come on, guys, you are the winner. You can celebrate it, right? As we celebrate you for winning the quiz. This will be the quiz winner post we will be announcing, and the quiz will be announced towards the end of the webinar. And this is the demo certificate. Remember, people who are attending till the end of the webinar will receive the certificate from Emertxe. So this is a demo certificate that I have given, and it will have the updated certificate ID for each webinar. And coming to our speaker, today's topic is LoRaWAN, how LoRaWAN drive IoT innovation. And we have our speaker, Shashidhara Basavegowda, sir. So let me take a moment to invite him and let me give a brief about him. So he's a dynamic leader and innovator in the field of networking. To today's masterclass webinar on exploring LoRaWAN, our speaker brings over 23 years of extensive experience in leading R&D, QA engineering, and product deployment in both hardware and software for service providers and enterprise networks. And he has spearhead groundbreaking projects including SONET to IP migration and led innovations in service provider access, ensuring continuous growth through key product differentiators. His technical acumen span network designs, automation, and security, making him true expert in transforming and optimizing network solution. Please join me in welcoming today's speaker, Shashidhara Basavegowda, sir, a thought leader who will share his deep insights and knowledge on LoRaWAN and its potential to transform industries. We are here thrilled to have him with us today. So over to you, sir. I think
Thank you so much, Kavya.
you're welcome, sir. I think you will be able to share your screen now. Could you please try sharing your screen, sir?
Yeah. Okay, just let me know. Um, Let me know you're able to. So it's giving me some error. Share just entire screen. Okay, let me know now, Kavya.
Yes, sir. We are able to view your screen, sir.
Okay, very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kavya. Thank you, Jaikumar. Jaikumar was my, former colleague at Ishwani Networks, and it's a long journey for us. And today, I just wanted to, come over here and through webinar and wanted to give introduction about LoRaWAN. So most of you know that today, IoT devices. So IoT devices, you may know about how that internet is connected to the devices, but you don't know how it connected and how what is the media or what all the the MAC are kind of a physical layer and as well as L3 layer it is connected to. So LoRaWAN is one of the technology that today widely deployed in um, IoT devices, not only in IoT devices with respect to the appliances as a consumer appliances, but it also majorly used in all the criticality like tsunami and as well as to detect the solar conditions and as well as a honey combi monitoring as well as. So this is the agenda, how build a LoRaWAN enable the remote access behavior monitoring, what is LoRaWAN and what is LoRa and LoRaWAN, components of LoRaWAN and LoRaWAN technology. I know that most of you understand the how the beehive behaves. The beehive fantastically built a ecosystem and as well as built a colony. So how that the beehive colony is consists of a queen. Queen is responsible for the laying the eggs and making sure that colony will be grown up. And there is a worker bees. The worker bees responsibility is to ensure that to collect the nectars and pollens and feed the colony, and as well as making sure that they feed a queen and as well as a young larva, and as well as protect colony, making sure that from the intruders, and produce the honey, prepare the honey, and as well as pollinate the crop. So when these beehives, when these cannot be put it within the city, it should be placed within the remote places like where there is a flowers and as well as trees, and where there is a more pollens are available. But when it is remotely deployed, it is very important to understand the bees, beehive, ecosystem temperature and as well as moisture and behavior, and how much bee honey is collected. All this information, how do you collect it? You cannot be put 5G there. If you know that how much the 5G produces a the power, the huge intensity, high frequency, and as well as it produces a lot of heat. If we keep the 5G to monitor the beehive, it will definitely burn up entire the beehive temperature, and making sure that beehive will be vacate their colony. So in order to ensure that we will remotely monitor and as well as ensure that a beehive systematically progress the telemetry, we need to have a technology called LoRa. What is LoRa? It's a low power and long range wide area network. That's where we widely used. This is one of the very critical component of the IoT devices. And see, what is the main purpose of the LoRaWAN? There's a remote monitoring and real-time problem detection, and reduce the intrusion into the beehive, and the beehive temperature, precise thermal conditions, and we have weight variations to detect. There is a when there is honey production happens, there is a honey that a beehive weight is going to be increased, and relative humidity. The eggs cannot be hatched when it is too dry, and when there is a beehive movements, and as well as um, when the honey production happens, there is a equal amount of carbon dioxide is produced in that colony. We need to ensure that we should not be we have to put a control system in ensure that this carbon dioxide will be easily released. Before that, we take any action, we need to understand how much carbon dioxide is produced. It will be detected to through the LoRaWAN, right? And this is one of the how telemetry is mapped to understand. Uh, the first one is normalized audio signal. We put a sensor in the LoRa. The LoRa will collect all this audio, the what is say vibrations and as well as audio signals. Based on that, we will read what is exactly the condition of the beehive. Okay, this is a queen pattern. If when there is a queue, when there is a queen available within the beehive, the what kind of pattern it produces. When there is no queen, kind of pattern it produces in the normalized audio signals, and as well as no bees. If there is no bees, look at that temperature patterns, right? And as well as sound patterns. And if you put it in the MEL spectrogram, it will give the heat wave. The heat wave representation, right? How it will be time, and as well as how when there is a bee, no queen is there, what kind of pattern it will be represented. It is kind of a detailed analysis. And when there is a no bees are there, what will be the, here the patterns are more of a blue color. So this is where we will read through remotely through telemetry. That telemetry will be read through LoRaWAN, right? So now coming back to the implementation of the LoRaWAN in the tsunami. So in tsunami, when there is a middle of the ocean, we cannot be put the Airtel antennas or some kind of GSM antennas. What we need to do is we need to put a systematic infrastructure in within the ocean to detect there is a tsunami, earthquake has happening, and there is a flood is expected, tsunami is happening. So there is a uh, the upside and downside of the wave. It will create a particular length of the waves that will be go beyond the permissible limit. Then it will give a indication to the central station. Central station will detect that yes, when there is a huge wave up to 10 meters, then it is a clear indication that that 10 meters wavelength will be given by the LoRaWAN. It will detect the it will measure the height of the waves, and the frequency, and as well as the velocity of the waves. Based on that, it will underwater sensor will give information to the central station, and the central station will give alert. It can be accomplished through LoRa WAN, and there is a nothing but a LoRa is a radio which is installed at the middle of the ocean. So what are the things we can measure with this? We can measure the flood, we can measure earthquakes and tsunamis and landslide. So how it works, it is application layer and communication layer and perception layer, right? Based on this, we should be able to decode it and give and extract the information from this kind of signaling. Now, LoRa for environmental sensing, each sensor has its own LoRa transmitter, and transmitter to a central uplink, as I mentioned, site. Support two-way communication, and uplink site can have different forms of backhaul to the server. So if you look at that way, how we have cell tower, a lower cellular gateway from sensor all the way to the lower cellular gateway. I'll explain you in detail in coming slide. And from that gateway to the, it will come to the cell tower, and cell tower to the USGS server. And these servers will upload this information to the web, right? With this, we constantly read this live information, what's happening in the environment, and as well as ocean, and as well as beehive. So um, I wanted to introduce before LoRaWAN, there is other technologies which is already majorly used. One is BAN, body area network. Body areas network is nothing but you have a when you are ECG, when they are measuring the ECG, there is a lot of devices will be put in on your body to measure the heart patterns, the heart beating patterns, BPM, right? Bits per minute. So beats per minute, and the PAN, the CAN and LAN and CAN. What is a PAN is personal area network is nothing but your laptop, your phone, and as well as your Bluetooth devices. And LAN is most of the things, LAN, Ethernet networks, which connect from your system to the another system, or to the server, or to the your office network. And the CAN and the MAN, WAN, metro area network, and the wide area network, right? So these are all the different technologies which will be used for today's communication. So you, if you are interested, you can get into browse through all these details. And as we mature these technologies, we go with the 2G, GSM, Edge, 3G, cellular, LTE, like that. These are all the very important communication technology and protocols. Now today we'll only focus on LoRa. What is LoRa? It's a low power. Low power means how much is power. It start from around 15 dBm all the way to 30 maximum by 30 dBm, like that. So, and as well as low frequency. The when you have, it's a frequency and distance is inversely proportional. You know that lower the frequency and more the distance. You can ask me what is the frequency of the lower, means it uses around 500 kilohertz or 600 kilohertz, maximum 800 kilohertz. and North America and all, it uses around 900 kilohertz, right? Um, so long range communication is a low frequency modulation technique developed by Semtech. This uses a chirp spread spectrum. Chirp is nothing but a compressed high intensity radar pulse. You can, after this session, you can read through more about the details. I just wanted to introduce you guys to this, this technology, so that if you want more details and you want to do more knowledge in this, just get into this, chirp. What is chirp spread spectrum? This is the modulation techniques that used to, collect the radio signal, the sensor to the gateway all the way to the signals, how that signal will be, converted from analog to the digital signals and transmit to the gateways, and gateways to the server, right? So the goal of this technology is to achieve long-range communication between the devices together with the low battery consumption. That is very critical. The battery consumption is very less actually. This is one of the beauty about this technology. That is the reason LoRa is today, though you use many IoT devices, but most of you may not be knowing what is LoRa is. Okay, LoRa is very fundamental technology of the IoT, right? And it's IoT protocol. So as I mentioned about power usage, LoRaWAN is a low power network technology that uses adaptive data rate ADR algorithm to optimize energy consumption and bandwidth. Here are some power related features like LoRaWAN for uplink. I think most of you know what is uplink and downlink. Uplink is all the way from LoRa sensor to the gateway. The one direction is called uplink, and from server to the gateway to the LoRa sensor, it's a downlink. Okay, so uplink, the maximum transmission power is limited to the 25 milliwatt. I'm talking about milliwatt. Okay, it's very less power. And for the downlink, the maximum transmission power is limited to 0.5 watt, is nothing but a 27 dBm, right? And maximum output power, as I mentioned previously, it's a 30 dBm. That's the maximum that is used in North America, right? So beyond this is what maximum bracket of the power that utilizes. So um, on the top of the LoRa technology, LoRa Alliance has developed an open source protocol LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN is not a licensed; it's a free of license. Anybody can, start working on this, adaptation of this, um, open source, and there is a stack is available. And securely connect for LoRa devices in the internet. The goal is to have a battery powered devices able to communicate to the internet while optimizing battery life. And as I mentioned, it's a low power sensor networks, low bandwidth hardware controls, low cost, focus on battery operated devices, and very slow speed. So ideal for connecting a small amounts of data over the long range while maintaining a low battery life. Okay, and LoRaWAN can be classified into three kinds of classification: Class A, Class B, and Class C devices. So I'll touch upon the Class A, the meant to have longest battery life. So in order to maintain the longest battery life, the communication should be minimal. Okay, when there is a communication required, then only those communication will be probed. Okay, it is sleeping most of the time, and thus do not listen to regular to the network. Can receive messages from network only as a response to a message they have sent uplink. Okay, for example, fire alarms. Fire alarms, you don't need to send every minute or every second. When there is a fire, we need to send alarm. Okay, we don't need to send this false alarm every time. Okay, so it's very important that these class A devices are much used in fire alarms. And flood detectors. The flood will happen once in blue moon. So it is very important that when there is a flood happens, the LoRa when we get active, and it will send the messages, right? And intrusion detector, right? When there is a when you put a IoT into the home, when there is somebody intrude into your home by breaking some kind of window or breaking some kind of glass, then there is a chances of LoRa when alert to the gateway and get to the server. Okay, and then coming to the Class B devices, right? The Class B devices meant to have average life. That means there is a frequent to and fro communication may happening here. Okay, periodic network communication, network can initiate communication, device sends data only with a few seconds of latency, right? And can initiate a download message from network without waiting for uplink. Okay, so it can send out or it can receive the message. Example of class B devices, right? Humidity, moisture, and metering temperature, right? We every day these devices will send temperature to the central you know um, meteorological department, where they will measure the what is the temperature of the city, how much is rain is expected, or what kind of humidity we have. Those kind of information the class B devices of LoRa network is used. And class C is high power consumption. It means very frequent communication happening in this network. Okay, continuous engagement, network interactions, right? Except there is a transmitting uplink. Okay, no latency for downlink messages. Example, the traffic monitoring. For example, in your city, some in the central police traffic department want to monitor what is a traffic density at particular junction. There will be constant data will be read from morning all the way to the afternoon, how much the traffic is. This will build a pattern. Okay, for weekdays this much is the traffic, and what is the so much of density. And it is equal to near real-time applications actually. These are all the places where LoRaWAN class C devices are highly used. Okay, now as I explained previously, what is LoRaWAN consist of? One is sensors, the end devices where it has connecting with the sensors, and from sensor to the this radio frequency all the way to the gateway. The gateway is where first they receive the analog signal, and they will convert into the digital, and digital to the they'll give to the network server. Okay, so from there, from network server, it will be sent into the application server. Okay, before that there is a that will handle authentication, and these when their device these end devices need to register, so they're making sure that there is a proper way of communication is handled. They should not give any third party or any some intruder should not come and give false alarm, in order to making sure that they will have proper secure IP, and all the authentication will be implemented in the network server. And application server will be read this data and put into the proper applications where this data needs to be send it to, whether it need to send it to meteorological department, or is it send it to traffic police, or is it send it to alarm department or fire alarm department. Oh, okay, those are the information. It will be properly classified application servers, and send it to the respective dashboards and data portals. Okay, so gateways. What are the functions of the gateways? As I mentioned, it is one of the several gateways or antenna will receive the packet. Again, it will demolitize the LoRa packets and forward the packet to the network server via internet or LAN. Okay, what is network server? Is like a router of a LoRaWAN protocols, handles authentication. It communicates with the application server, and it duplicates a number of uplinks, and it schedules a downlink messages and handles the join request and join accept messages between the devices. It is nothing but authentication. Only the legalized and authenticated traffic need to be communicated to the application servers. So application server is responsible for application layer protocol. It receives the fray from network server and decrypt the data, because all the data come from network server. As I mentioned, network server to the application server is a encrypted data. Okay, it will decrypt it, and when it encrypts the data and sends down to the end nodes. I mean, when some communication need to happen to the sensors, okay, to measure this data or measure that data, it will be encapsulated and with encrypts it and send it to the end devices, so that it is securely transmit the data to the end devices. Okay, and data events can be integrated with a destinations like AWS or MQTT broker, HTTP, and dashboards. So making sure that there is a proper endpoints it's supposed to reach, the application server will handle it. Okay, join server. The join server is handles all the air commissioning, nothing but a join, pruning, and as well as join request, join accept messages. Okay, from a shared application key inside devices is a dynamic device address, network session key, how it works, application session key to enable the secure transmission of the LoRaWAN messages. Okay, what are the the 10 points, the 10 strongest points of the LoRaWAN is nothing but a Today, from today, the LoRaWAN is already matured 10 years back. Okay, it's already in 10 years in field. And I, as mentioned, the connect has a low frequency and more distance is a inversely proportional. As I mentioned in the beginning, it will connect up to 10 kilometer of the from the base station. And cost is under the, it is very economical. It is not too much expensive to maintain it. The cost is under $10 per device, and transmit as little as I told you. It's very small bytes of information as a 10 bytes per hour. Okay, and each base station should be able to support a 10K devices. That means base station can manage 10,000 devices. Okay, so there are, if you ask me, this kind of devices, there are many, flavors of the and many operating forums who operate this LoRaWAN. One is Sigfox. The Sigfox is one of the is equal to LoRaWAN. Sigfox is majorly used from LoRaWAN majorly connect from a device to devices, where Sigfox will connect from device to the cloud, right? And there is a another forum called NB IoT and LTEM, okay, where exactly it is used in Sigfox, majorly used in security alarms and smart metering and asset tracking. Okay, and LoRaWAN, a smart metering, a smart city and smart building, and NB IoT and as well as LTEM is used in smart metering, in GPS trackers and smoke or fire alarms. Okay. Um, so the source Sigfox is from the WND, and LoRaWAN is founded by Semtech, and the source from LTE is GSMA. Okay, and so where exactly the major widely used, other than what we talked about, tsunami and as well as fire alarms, it is go and beyond is these applications are beyond what we initially thought. Okay, this is used in emergency defense, automotive, smart city transportation, and supply chain tracking, and a connected health. It is majorly used in hospitals, end devices, and agriculture and smart metering. Okay, smart metering in terms of it may be a water metering, or it may be a gas metering, it may be many other metering it is used, a smart building and retail goods, right? This is the data we have taken in 2020 global revenues. Okay, now as I will go depth, as well as I explained you water and gas metering, as I explained you public security and street lighting, um, and smart parking, LoRaWAN is used, and location tracking, and leak detection, and disaster precaution, and livestock, environmental monitoring, and smart energy, and waste management, and agriculture. Okay, and as I told you, um, the LoPaWAN is not just good enough for warehouse, and Wi-Fi is not suited for trunk. Then there is a different, as I told you, previous technologies are used as right? Sigfox used, or NB IoT is used, or LTE, M is used. LoRaWAN is majorly used, as I told you, no dedicated hardware and wide area. It supports wide area, and as well as it is high accuracy, and as well as cell is wide area is majorly used. So these are all the LoRaWAN history. Um, so LoRaWAN majorly founded during 2015. Before that only we had Sigfox as a majorly as it will connect from device to the cloud, and this is where how this technology evolved from 1980 all the way to 2016 and beyond. Okay, the current LoRaWAN contenders, as I mentioned, the Sigfox, LoRaWAN, NB-IoT, LTE, and these are all the many contenders are there. Okay, and coming to the main technical aspect of LoRaWAN, what is the modulation? I already explained. It uses a DSS chip is nothing but compressed high intensity radar pulse, and the frequency, as I told you, maximum is 868 kilohertz to 908 megahertz, and the coverage 153 power, one 161 dB, and bandwidth is 125 kilohertz, and data rate is very minimal data rates, okay, 0.3 to 50 kilobits per second, and the message, as I told you, it's an unlimited maximum messages. Okay, sigfox sigfox is frequency range is 868 900 megahertz, and coverage is 149 to 161 dB, and bandwidth is 100 hertz. Okay, and data rate is 100 bits per second, right? Okay, this data is very less than what LoRaWAN supports. Okay, and maximum message is a 140 UL to DL. So there are other than that LoRaWAN Sigfox, there are other contenders are also provide such kind of facilities. Okay, and this is LoRaWAN market developments. Okay, LoRaWAN is majorly utilized. Okay, module shipments in millions actually, right? LoRaWAN is majorly deployed and majorly used and majorly purchased. Okay, starting from 2017 to 2021. And this is the market of telecom IoT today and beyond. Today, 97.9 billion of revenue it can be coming from deploying of this LoRaWAN, and there is a it's increasing from 7.3 billion all the way to 97 billion. That means we 31.8 CAGR of the global IoT telecom service market side from 2018 to 2028, right? There's a lot of opportunity for LoRaWAN. It's a lot of future for LoRaWAN, and look at the CAGR, right? 31% every year. Okay, growth. So as I told you, many applications today keep for example, smart cities need LoRaWAN, gas and metering connection. Today, though you take in the metropolitan cities, LoRaWAN is not widely deployed, but there's an opportunity is there. The government should be taken this seriously and deploy it in many applications. Okay, and LoRaWAN network deployment alliance of member public networks. Okay, and there is yellow wherever there is a yellow. Um, other most of the LoRaWAN deployed, and other LoRaWANs are deployed in other cities. Okay, majorly it is deployed where it is marked as a yellow color. 88 network operators and operating in 50 countries and nearly 100 countries with a LoRaWAN deployment. Right, alliance of LoRaWAN networks operators. Today there is a LoRaWAN is nothing but a technology, but people who take the technology and work with government and work with companies who deployers like though GSM is technology or CDMA is a technology, but Airtel and Vodafone, those are the Geo, these are the kind of operators. Like that, the LoRaWAN is also taken from these are the operators. These are all the people who deploying it today. Okay, these are the companies which take that license. It is though it is not licensed, but they will take the technology and implement it in their whether within their organization, or they will work with a PSUs, the governments, and deploy the LoRaWAN there. Okay, the principle of network based geolocation, as I mentioned right previously, the demodulation accuracy, RX signal strength, noise level, and time of arrival, and estimated noise, and clock synchronization. For example, it should be the car should detect where exactly the GPS is, and as well as where exactly the positioning of the car. It can be read and uploaded to the LoRa network. As I told you, it's a the in addition to the personal network, there is a the LoRaWAN is deployed in locomotives, in buses, cars, everywhere. Okay, work on radio and diversity, and range-based solver or a correlation of time and differential of arrival, and environmental modeling and propagation behaviors. Right, these are all the where majorly geolocations LoRaWAN is also used. Okay, so this is about cognitive radio. This advanced, though LoRaWAN is all like a planned, and as well as there is a frequency is properly dedicated. So in case of cognitive radio is an intelligent system. When there is a cognitive radio will adapt and identify when there is a free spectrum holes are there, the cognitive radio will takes place, and it will detect where I can transmit the signal, where I can not to transmit the signals. Is cognitive radio is a self-learning system that detects and analyzes its environment, adapts the changes, and acts to use radio spectrum efficiently. The Sear scan spectrum for licensed users, recognition to allow, and unlicensed users. Like that, it will be very cognitive is nothing but intelligent radio. It is adaptability, and it will modulate itself based on the spectrum holes. And spectrum holes are channels that are available and not in use at the time. of the space of sensing. Okay, so this high level I have covered I in detail as well as wherever it is applicable. The cognitive radio is next, happening technology that if you want to, anybody is interested in, reading about cognitive radio, feel free to, read that. It's very interesting technology where there is no continuous dedicated frequency is required. It will uses spectrum holes and, utilizes and, cognitively, maneuver the packets and as well as modulation, demodulation techniques. It's all cognitive radio behaves. Okay, so I just wanted to connect and as well as introduce you guys to the this LoRaWAN technology. So yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to ask me. I hope I'm able to give the gist about LoRaWAN. LoRaWAN is a ocean. I wanted to touch upon within this given time and help you guys out. Any questions are there? Or I hope you understood the majorly the technology of LoRaWAN, where exactly it is used, and where it's going to be, growth factories, where exactly widely deployed technology. Okay, and as well as it is a, again, to summarize, it's a low frequency and a low power, long range technology. It is used in most of your IoT devices. You just think that it's appliances, but it's widely used in tsunami detection. It used in fire detection, fire alarms, and intrusion detection, and as well as beehive monitoring. Many applications. LoRaWAN is widely used. Okay. Technology, as I mentioned you, it is evolving, and as well as, and what I mentioned about it has a growth factor of 30 CAGR. Most of the countries are going, deploying this, and it is and in India also it is not widely deployed, but there are a lot of opportunities for us. Okay, and it is not an expensive solution. It is a very economical solutions. People need to get more and more awareness and deploy it. That is what very important in case of LoRaWAN. Okay. Yeah, thank you, Kavya. I am ready to take question if anybody have a question. Okay, thank you. Thank you, team.
Thank you, sir. So we have a question here. How does the scalability of LoRaWAN support large-scale IoT deployments?
Very good. So as I mentioned you, Kavya and everybody. So uh, LoRaWAN is operated at a very lesser frequency. Okay, so as I told you, the gateway supports 10,000 of IoT sensors, LoRa sensors. 10,000 devices can be connected. Like if there is a one gateway, I'm just talking about one gateway, but there are multiple gateways will be connected, and each gateways will be connected with the 10K sensors. So as and when gateway is expandable, so making sure that network server and application server are properly handling this data. So it is also used in long ranges. That's the beauty about this technology. So it can be connected to the fire station, and it can be connected to the multiple of your home home alarm systems, and as well as your IoT smart cities. So within Bangalore, we can connect to multiple gateways and multiple LoRa endpoints. So you can multiply like that. Okay, each devices, 10K devices can be one gateway. So scalability is not a challenge. Scalability is easily scalable and largely deployable. Kavya.
Thank you, sir. So we have one more question. Can you give some inputs on the key security features that are implemented in LPWAN technologies to ensure the confidentiality integrity of data?
Very good. So one is 802.1x. That means a port-based authenticity. The port-based authenticity is what before they entering, before anybody want to register this end sensor to the gateway and network server and application server, there is a protocol is implemented. So those protocol is to making sure that these properly authenticated. Cannot be somebody cannot be intrude and get into the LoRa network server or application server. First level of security is 802.1 1D. And the next is there is a MAC layer, there will be security. Okay, MAC layer need to be registered. Okay, so it will be registered at the network server. So only that registration be followed by 802.1x authentication. So next is high level layer 3 coming to the network layer, right? It has to be when they want to uh, send that packet as a routed. It will be like, registered packet only can be routed. It cannot be, just somebody can snoof into the network and burden that network with some DDoS attacks or some kind of attacks. So it is as I told you, one is at physical level security, second is the MAC layer security, at the network layer security, and as well as you go up, there will be firewalls. There will be detecting that kind of a malware cannot be introduced or somebody cannot be spoofed into that network. So LoRaWAN is high secure, highly authenticated. As I mentioned in the previous slides, right? It has multiple security protocols are implemented. Thank you, Kavya.
Thank you, sir. And we'll wait for 2 more minutes. So, guys, if you have any questions, you can drop in. I'll read out so that our speaker for the day, Shashidhara Basavegowda sir, can answer your questions. So, if you still have any doubts, you can drop in question and answer section. I'll wait for 2 more minutes. Sir, so
Yeah,
there's one.
there are some
Yeah.
questions in the chat window.
Yes.
Um, okay, I will just read out and answer whatever the possible ways.
Sure, sir.
Okay, first is, sir, could you please explain something more about cognitive radio? The cognitive, as I mentioned, itself is intelligent. Cognitive means intelligent. Okay, it is not like, if any radio transmission need to happen, there should be a media. Okay, there is a dedicated channels, and there will be a transmitter and receiver. Okay, there is a protocols need to be established. But cognitive is nothing but intelligent. As I told you, when there is a spectrum, the unutilized spectrum, these radios will be so much intelligent that it uses those spectrum gap and enters that. Okay, so that it will find a way to transmit from end to end. So there is no dedicated channel, there is no a dedicated authentication happens. So this is a cognitive radio. You can study more about cognitive radio in Google. You can understand more about it. um, okay, sir, can you please explain LoRaWAN protocol structure? So LoRaWAN is not, as I told you, it is not a LoRaWAN is not a protocol actually. LoRaWAN is at a physical and layer 2. At the physical, as I told you, it's a frequency range, and as I told you, it has modulation technique, uses a chirp dynamic spectrum. So chirp spread spectrum, and at the layer 2, it uses MAC, and then it uses physical layer to transmit. Okay, so it is nothing but when it receives the data from sensor, it is a analog, and that data can be converted to digital by gateways, and gateways will transmit to the any regular protocols like L2 or L3. So this is the way this LoRaWAN operates. Okay, it's normal like any other the Ethernet, or see, for example, if you want to use radio, right? Radio, what happens in 3GPP and 4G, it uses the signaling all the way to the RAN, radio access network. And from backend of radio access network is nothing but a data. It will convert from analog to digital signal and transmit. Like that, LoRaWAN is a first is a radio all the way from sensor to the gateway, and from gateway to the network server is nothing but it uses digital data. It will convert from analog to digital and send out the data. And from when the data receives from um, gateway, sorry, the network server, again it will convert from. It has a memory mapping. Taken the data from network server, convert from digital to analog, and send it back to the sensor. Like this is operates actually. What are the major important areas we can use LoRaWAN? I showed you in the slides actually. You can use it in tsunami. You can use it in fire station. You can use it in. I started with the beehive example actually. Okay, and I explained about smart city, and I have given many examples where all the LoRaWAN can be deployed. Okay, how does LoRaWAN handle interference of unlicensed frequency bands? Okay, as I told you, um, LoRaWAN is a very less frequency band. Okay, so show me which all other frequency bands can be interfere. Okay, there is nothing like any other frequency bands operate at this at this range. So for example, if you want to take Airtel, or if you want to take any other no no radio network, the frequency used in very high actually. Okay, it may be OFDM technology, orthogonal frequency division, multiplexing. Those are the very high frequency. So LoRaWAN, the interference of unlicensed to frequency bands is very less actually, or licensed frequency bands. Okay, how does LoRaWAN security model protect against attacks such as data tampering and denial of service? I explained you in detail in the beginning. Um, at the first level, at the MAC level, there is the LoRaWAN operates as 802.1x is nothing but a port-based authentication. Okay, any communication need to happen from gateway to the network server. It has to be authenticated, as I told you in the one of the slide, right? And from it's a two-way communication. The protocols will be handled at a network layer. I mean, data link layer to all the way to network layer. So once that 802.1x authentication happens, it will allow the ports to transmit the data. Otherwise, these ports will be stopped, blocked. Okay. So there is no data tampering. There is no denial of service. Attacks happen in the LoRaWAN. Okay. So LoRaWAN is used in automobiles. Yes, LoRaWAN is in automobiles. One of the slide I showed you where LoRaWAN constantly monitor. For example, in train it is used in train. It is used in buses. In train, they will come to detect how many seats are occupied. They can be sit at central place and read about it, or where is that exactly the train is at, what train station the train is at, and what time it started, what time it reached. Everything can be measured. As I told you, LoRaWAN is nothing but it's a radio to the gateway, and gateway to the network server, network to the application server, and it's the end devices. Okay, telemetry. So yes, LoRaWAN can be used in automobiles. Okay, sir, what are the challenges or considerations before installing or setting up LoRaWAN? So challenges is making sure that you have installed LoRaWAN where proper gateways are present, and making sure that radios are properly able to connect. Um, and as I told you, the interference is very less, but making sure that the reachability point of view, since it's a low frequency and long distance, making sure that there is a proper battery adaptation is implemented, and also identify what kind of LoRaWAN is a class A or class B, class C. Okay, class A is very less communication, class B is a medium communication, and class C is high communication, right? So identify those kind of what kind of device, what kind of sensor you need to put, whether it's a class A devices you need to put, or class B, class C. Accordingly, you can design your LoRaWAN. Okay, I explained about what is LAN, WAN, or MAN. I just explained about it. LAN is local area network, is nothing but your internet, your office, internet. What is MAN? Metro area network is nothing but within city. They will connect between the two cities, or within the cities they will connect between the two important main important government offices, and important kind of traffic system, or many things. Okay, there is a metro area network. And wide area network is nothing but, suppose you want to transmit a data from Bangalore to Chennai, or Bangalore to America, or Bangalore to anywhere, right? There is wide area network used, which where it will come beyond where it uses routers. And most of you know that how that Juniper routers uses to transmit the data between the multiple endpoint, uses L3 VPN technology, MPLS, multi-protocol label switching. All these technologies are used in the WAN. Okay, Battery life optimization, as I mentioned you, there is a different types of batteries are there. It's a the power is used is very less actually. Starting from 15 dBm all the way to 30 dBm. Consumption. Okay, battery life is very much, again, battery life can be with the help of LoRaWAN. Battery health can be monitored sitting at a remote site. Okay, so I have answered most actually.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. So there is a question. Can you share the slides for reference? I don't think we can share the slides for reference, but definitely we'll be sharing the recorded session with you guys, so that any point of time you want to have a recap of what happened in this session, you can go through the recording sessions and you can note down your points. Thank you, sir.
Okay, I'll just answer few more questions. Sir, LoRaWAN, this question answered by Ganpat. Which IP address classes? Okay, it is beyond what IP addresses deployment, because LoRaWAN operates at physical layer and layer 2. Okay, IP addresses, it can be generally how your network service providers will be using it. What kind of an IP address it may be is, class A, class B, class C IP addresses. Okay, starting from 224, the 190 to 168, 100, like that. Okay, any IP address can be used because layer 3 is totally independent of the service providers. Okay, so what are the factors affect range of LoRa? Factors, yes, there is I know that frequency. Um, okay, if it is a maximum frequency, I told you, right, the maximum frequency that LoRa operates is 900 megahertz. But if the more frequency ranges are enabled, LoRa will not be operate. Okay, because that is a maximum frequency it operates. You know that it's a more the frequency, lesser the distance. But what is our goal? Our goal is to making sure that we need to use lesser frequency, lesser power, and more battery life, and the range is high. Okay, we should be transmit up to 10 kilometer, as I told you, right? The 10 kilometer is nothing but gateway. The gateway is a 10 kilometer. Okay, from gateway all the way beyond, it's all like data transmission, right? So this is a uses of this is about um, what are the factors affect the LoRaWAN. I just answered. Okay, what are the main limitations of LoRaWAN in terms of scalability? LoRaWAN, what is in terms of scalability? What are the limitations? I don't think so. Any limitations, at this point actually. As I mentioned you, the maximum is you can connect 10,000 devices to the gateway. Okay, 10,000 LoRa endpoint to the gateway. Okay, 10,000 may be the limitation. Maybe beyond 10,000 is the limitation. Then you need to put a more gateways, so that use more gateways, and each gateway supports 10K of LoRa endpoints. Like that, you can expand that network. So there is no scalability issues. Okay, in terms of per gateway, you should be able to connect 10,000 LoRaWAN endpoints. Okay, security of data through it. Security I again touched upon. Okay, what else? Oh, sir. Okay, this is identified. Sir, this can be used as a reading sensor values and remoting control from very long distance, like 2,000 kilometer. Again, I told you, up to gateway, it is a 10 kilometer. And gateway and beyond, there is a data transmission. It can be up to 2,000 kilometer and anywhere to the telemetry. But the data collection, the sensor collection from sensor all the way to the gateway, it's maximum 10 kilometer. Okay. Hope you understand that. Sir, LoRaWAN used in aerospace industry. Okay, very good question. I told you, LoRaWAN, you know, what is required? One is sensor and the gateway. But in space, where do you install the gateways? When flight is traveling, where do you install the gateways? Okay, gateway should be floating in the sky. Okay, um, answer is no. Cannot be cannot be used in flight, because there is a different kind of sensors are used. Different kind of there is a flight tracking system is used today widely. LoRaWAN, no, flight cannot be used in flight, because LoRaWAN need to connect to the gateways. Okay, where do you the gateway should be hanging in the air. Okay, we cannot be. Okay, is there any license less for LoRaWAN? No, this is a license free, as I told you. It's a open. LoRaWAN is a open. and you have to work with. See, though technology is but who is going to implement? There is a, I told, no, there is a lot of vendors who is going to implement. They may charge you, okay, because they may charge you as a service to your home. So for example, they want to put an intruder detection to your home. They may charge you for their service, but as a technology, it is a license-free technology. Okay, this answer is Bhopal Reddy, right? How we can implement it? Okay, as I told you, I have shown you end-to-end implementation details as well. But if you want to read more about implementation hands-on, go through the LoRa forum. It will help you. Okay, what is the difference between LoRa and LoRaWAN? See, the LoRa is a physical technology. Okay, as I told you, it's a sensor. It's a PHY, and when it comes to PHY to MAC layer, and MAC layer to the once it takes the data from sensor, it will the gateway will convert from analog to digital, and digital to data. It will add a MAC layer to that, MAC layer to IP layer. It will transmit. Okay, so this is a the LoRa is at 5 level. I mean physical level, and LoRaWAN is at L2 and L3 and L4 level. Okay, so sir, how LoRaWAN compared to other technologies? What technologies actually? You meant to say 3GPP or 4G? Yes, LoRaWAN can be, as I told you, LoRaWAN can be used in only in particular deployments, as I told you, right? Um, as I told you, if you put a 5G in Beehive, Beehive will burn up, okay, because the amount of the power that 5G produces, Beehive will burn up, and all the bees will run away from that Beehive. Okay, we cannot be used. We cannot be compare in terms of technical data, but we cannot be replace the LoRaWAN with any other technologies. Yes, ADR mechanism is LoRaWAN optimize energy consumption and its limitation, right? There is some lot of optimization technologies available, and yes, ADR mechanisms will optimize energy and its limitations, and there are many other ways of managing it. Okay, ADR is one of the way. Okay. Okay. See, the NB-IoT is nothing but one more, like parallel technology to the LoRaWAN, right? Um, LoRa is one more forum, and as I told you, Sigfox is one more, right? Sigfox will connect from, all the way from device to the cloud, and NB-IoT is nothing but one more parallel LoRa technology. Slide, sir, can you please explain 4 components of LoRa connection slide once again? LoRaWAN 4 components. Where is that exact slide you are talking about? You can revisit your slide, your recorded video. I have run through this entirely. I didn't exactly get the question actually. Okay. Okay, roaming types. So it is not. See, as I told you, LoRa is not end to end actually. LoRa is up to gateway. Okay, there is no roaming applicable here. Okay, so how okay. Good question actually, but it's not applicable to LoRa. I'll tell you what is roaming is. Okay, assume we have in 3GPP or 4G, you in one single city, the one area to another area, there is a multiple base stations. Okay, so you are moving from, for example, you are in Bangalore, you are moving from Jayanagar to Indiranagar, and Indira to MG Road. Okay, so there will be base station which covers Jayanagar all the way, all the endpoints and cellular endpoints. And if you want to move from Jayanagar all the way to the MG Road, it should hand off to that device to the another base station. It is called roaming. Okay, but what we're talking about LoRa? LoRa is first of all that the radio ends at the gateway itself. Okay, so there is no roaming applicable in LoRa network. Okay, sir, I'm working on a product where there is a photo cell specific height and need to transmit signal from around 20 to 30 receiver in a campus area. So I can turn on and off street lights using 3 to 4 kilometer outline. How I can accomplish? Okay, there is a different sensors you can use it. Okay, LoRa sensor is just nothing but it will understand. It has its own sensors. Okay, as I told you, it may be a temperature sensor, it may be a altitude sensors. Okay, those sensors LoRa will transmit. Okay, like that if you want turn on and off, there is, yes, there is a different sensors are there. There is way LoRa can be used. Yes, I can tell that LoRa can be used, but LoRa is a technology. Okay, that can be again sensors are depend on a ASIC, application specific. Okay, as application specific sensors can be used for this purpose. Actually, what you are talking about. Yes, there is a possibility. I'm answer is yes to you. Okay. Okay. Could you approximate estimate time integrate LoRa in a project? Um, Again, it depends upon infrastructure you are going to build. Okay, the gateway and application server. If you have that, you can complete the project within 1 month. Okay, it all needs infrastructure is required. It is a infant Reagan has asked this question. Okay, trade-off benefits. I already explained what are the benefits and trade-off LoRaWAN versus cellular IoT network. Right, as I told you, the the benefits is long telephone. You know that cellular is only operate within the because it's a high frequency. Okay, it uses orthogonal frequency division multiplexing. I think I explained to you the beginning of this session. The more the frequency, lesser the distance. Okay, think about radio station 100 FM. Okay, the more that frequency it produces, okay, is more, and the area coverage is less. The more the frequency, lesser the distance. So in case of 3GPP or cellular, in cellular, what happens? You have the highest frequency can be transmitted, but it can be limited to the one particular area. As I told you, that is what roaming is coming into the picture. If you want to transmit from Jayanagara, when your parents are residing in other city, you're residing in Hyderabad or Bangalore or Chennai, you want to call to your parents. Do you think that just one frequency range will reach there? No, it is all handoff and roaming works there. Okay, it may be passing on to different handing off to multiple radio access networks to to have communication between you and your parents residing in your village or different cities. Okay, so we cannot be compare just LoRaWAN with cellular. As I told you in the beginning, LoRa is a very small frequency and longer distance. The longer distance is I told you 10 kilometer. Okay, maximum distance LoRaWAN can transmit is a 10 kilometer. Okay, because it uses a small frequency. Okay, 900 kilohertz or 900 megahertz or 800 megahertz like that. Okay, so this is what this is the main trade-off between LoRaWAN and cellular network. Okay, I think Kavya, I have answered most of the questions. Um, um, okay, if you have any other questions, feel free. Okay, last question. I want to use LoRaWAN on IoT-based tire maintenance and operation app project. Is there any sensor that offer TK monitoring? Oh, you're talking about TMPS, right? TMPS monitoring, right? Okay, good. See, in TMPS monitoring, what is happening? There is a sensor at the they will install within that tubeless tires within that tire, and there is a receiver which will be residing in your within the car. Okay, so what you can do, you can connect that LoRaWAN to that. Okay, whatever the reading would be your receiver will be receiving, that can be acting as a LoRa. Okay, from that point it will transmit to particular endpoint. But do you want to when there is a why you want to tell world that my tire pressure is 30 psi? Why? Who cares? Your tire is 30 psi or 40 psi. It's you should be worried about, right? Why, LoRaWAN? Why you need to put such a expensive, infrastructure to tell your tire pressure? My tire pressure is 30 psi. It's not required, isn't it? That's you are the first person to know about it. What is your tire pressure is? Correct. Okay. Whole world is now no need to know about it. But your your car location can be tell anybody using a LoRa, but not like your tire pressure, right? Or temperature, not required. It is there are already devices are available. Mohit, TMPS. It's already standard based devices are available. Most of the cars come with a factory fitted today TMPS, right? So you no need to use LoRa for that actually. Why do you need to publish? Oh, look, my tire pressure is 30 psi to everybody, whole world. Who cares, right? Not required. You should be knowing Mohit, that okay, my tire pressure is less. It is a 20 psi. I go to any petrol station and fill your tire properly. Okay, for the proper tire pressure, and you can travel. You don't need to use LoRaWAN for that to detect your tire pressure. Okay. And again, LoRaWAN is not really meant for to measure the tire pressure of your car. Okay, LoRaWAN is for different purpose, right? Still, you can do it. Okay, to locate your car. That you can use LoRaWAN, as I explained in the geolocation. Okay. Okay, what upcoming features or enhancement can expect in future version of LoRaWAN? Yes, see, as I told you, right? There is a LoRa forum is there, and there will be, lot of development is going to happen. And LoRaWAN, more and more, we need to, security. As one of your friend asked question about security, we need to take that security to the next level, or we need to see how we can making sure that um, the accuracy of the data can be transmitted, because there is a possibility of the data cannot be properly converted from sensor to the radio signal and send it. There will be high intensity clarity data can be produced. There are a lot of improvement can be done. You can go and read in Dora forum. That definitely you can get a lot of information from that. Who asked this question? Rehana. What is the last question I can read? We can use LoRa devices without gateway for the device to device connection? No. Okay, because the what is the purpose of LoRaWAN? For example, assume you want to detect tsunami in ocean, right? Without gateway, where do you put a device actually? And how you can read it? You have to just jump into the ocean and detect there is a tsunami, right? No, right? You should need a gateway. So to understand, the sensor will read that altitude of the wave, and understand this wave altitude is beyond the permissible range, and it will measure that altitude of the wave and send that to the gateway, and gateway to the network server and to the application server. Okay, so LoRaWAN, without gateway, LoRaWAN cannot device operate. Okay, the gateway is a very must to answer into your question. Okay, this question asked by Muhammad. Okay, and okay, is there any opportunity? This question, who asked this question? Chaitali. Is there any opportunity to learn this technology practically in a project? Yes, you can. But again, it has its own infrastructure required, Chaitali. You need to work with your, college, and or you need to work with the infrastructure actually, because as I told you, right, in order to measure small things for building such infrastructure, it takes a lot of amount to build it. Infrastructure is very important. As I told you, each gateway can connect with 10,000 devices. Why do you want to, in order to measure, in order to do a project, you need to install such a huge, for example, it is equal to, why don't you use existing infrastructure? You can go ahead and check with LoRa forum, where you need to, able to connect the sensor to one of the gateway. Okay, that gateway can be, you need to get, from there you need to get authentication, register, everything you need to do. So yes, you can use your LoRaWAN in your project, but provided you need to work with a authenticated persons who can help you with this your project. Can you provide such opportunity? See, again, I'm telling you, our we are not the deployers. We are the technology people. Okay, so we provide technology infrastructure to the service providers. Okay, if you look into the Juniper is about making routers, switches, data centers, and we making sure that we give these devices to the internet service providers who deploy it to provide a service to the endpoint. For example, Airtel uses Juniper devices. Okay, we have flavors of devices like MX, PTX. We give infrastructure. I mean, we give devices which can be used to build infrastructure. Okay, so we don't deploy. Uh, for example, I'll tell you, we are not Airtel company. We will provide a devices to the Airtel company so that they will use our devices to deploy and give service providing. Okay, we don't provide end-to-end service. We provide the equipments. We make equipment, networking equipments. Okay, and we provide such a devices to making sure that we build software to making sure that those software will enable a transmission of data. Okay, they will take software. We do licensing for the software. They will load this software into the devices and use those devices to transmit the data from one endpoint to another endpoint. Okay, so yeah, can you provide such opportunity? What opportunity you're looking for? You want to come for interview and get into job? Yes, you feel free to apply into our company and get a job, right? And Juniper is a great company to work for, right? So yeah, all the best to you. You can work.
Thank you, sir. That was a great session of question and answer. I think it was a wonderful session. And thank you for patiently answering all the questions, going through all the questions. And I enjoyed this webinar as such. Like, you patiently answered every question. That means a lot to us, sir.
Thank you,
And
Kavya.
sir,
I want to ask one last question to
sure.
everybody. You can answer me through the chat. Okay, all of you heard about 7 wonders of the world. What is the 8th wonder of the world? Can you please, type and answer me? Somebody answered, right?
Internet, yeah.
Yeah, Debanjan.
Niranjan
Thank
Das.
you. It's a correct answer. Yeah, AI is just evolving, but AI without internet is nothing. Okay, so yeah, internet is 8th wonder of the world, and we are a company, Juniper Networks. We build devices which will enable the internet. Okay, so yeah, ChatGPT is just a let's say what is a interactive AI or generative AI. Okay, but all is matters is internet actually. Okay, so again, thank you, Kavya. Thank you, Jaykumar, for giving me such a wonderful opportunity to talk to you and spread my knowledge. The main goal of my this session is to spread the knowledge. Okay, and there is a lot of evaluation happening. A lot of as I told you, the CAGR of IoT LoRaWAN is almost like 30%. Okay, so the world can tap into this and make it deployed in majorly most of the deployments. Okay, like as I told you, connecting metro cities are making sure that all the end-to-end devices are connected, IoT, customer appliances, many more, as I told you in my slides. Okay, so there is a lot of opportunity. Okay, this is one of the powerful technology. So with this spreading of powerful technology, it will be one more asset in your knowledge book. So use it effectively, go deep into that. Cognitive ADI is WAF, as I mentioned, is one of the fantastic and futuristic, radio. Okay, that is, you go deep and learn about it. It will give you very good perspective about how cognitive radio works. Thank you. Go ahead,
Thank.
Kavya. Thank you.
So, if you could unshare your screen, I will start sharing my screen, sir.
1 minute.
Sure.
Okay. Now I
Thank
stopped it,
Thank
Kavya.
you, sir. So, guys, before we proceed to quiz, I would like to hear from you all. How was this webinar? How did you enjoy your webinar? You can drop in question and answer section, or also you can react through emojis, as few of you have already been reacting through emojis. We would love to hear from you guys. Okay, I see a lot of emojis coming in. You guys can also enter your experience through Q&A section.
Kavya, you can give my LinkedIn link to these people if anybody wants to connect with me, and if they want to read some questions, or they want to get clarification, anything. Okay.
Sure, sir. That would be great. So, guys, here is the form, and no worries, you all will be receiving an email after this webinar or on Monday regarding this form link. Most probably, you guys will be receiving soon after the webinar. An email is triggered from our team, and please note down the quiz code. We won't be sending the quiz code again. We want the quiz to be taken exclusively only by our attendees. Guys, you have spent time on a weekend, and our speaker has also spent time on a weekend. He's come to us and he's accepted our invitation, and we had a great session here, right? So note down the quiz code. I will pause here for a minute or so. Form, I will also paste this link on the chat. Let me also paste it on the question and answer section. So you guys will also be receiving an email regarding the same. And you can also join our tribe. We have a masterclass community on Telegram. And by scanning this QR code, you guys can join our tribe. As Sir informed, we will also be sharing Sir's LinkedIn profile link through our emails on Monday. So all the quiz winners, as I informed earlier, will be receiving another email to fill in your details, and we'll be announcing the quiz winners on our social media. So I can see a few of them have started joining the Telegram channel. Great. I will pause here also for a minute so that you guys can take your time and start joining the our cult. And there's also a speciality with this ticket. So we have been hosting masterclass webinar for the guys who have been constantly attending our masterclass webinar, and the guys who collect the maximum number of these tickets towards maybe next, as we have just started this season, towards the end of the season, we'll be receiving a goodie for showing your consistency with us, showing your engagement with us. We will also be receiving special surprise goodies from us. So start collecting these. We'll also be sharing this soon through your emails, okay? And not to worry, this is only considered for our attendees, as you have all registered to our webinar. We would obviously get to know who's attended and who's not attended. So moving on to our next slide. Guys, you can always stay connected with us for the updates. Please again scan the QR code. This is the QR code for LinkedIn of Emerging Information Technologies, and this is the QR code for our Instagram account. So you guys can scan and join. In meantime, I would again love to thank our speaker for the day. It was a wonderful session, sir, especially when you showed the market trends and all. I personally enjoyed this webinar a lot. And again, hats off to your question and answer session, sir. You took so much time to answer everyone. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavya. And I'm really delighted to have this session. And what makes me happy is spread the knowledge. And I wanted to, all the budding engineers to go and rule the world. Okay, what it makes is powerful in your knowledge. Knowledge will makes you powerful. And wish you all the best to all of you. Okay, and wish you great success in your career. Okay, and thank you, Kavya, for this opportunity, and Jay Kumar. And I am really enjoyed this session. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The pleasure was ours. And guys, thank you for taking your time and joining on a weekend. Happy weekend, guys. Good night. And you can also take the screenshot of this particular screen. I'll wait for a minute or so that you can start joining our cult on Instagram and LinkedIn also to receive frequent updates.
Okay, Kavya, I will drop off. Okay, thank you so much.
So thank you, sir. It was great having you.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So, bye, sir. All right. Thank you, guys. Bye. It was a great evening. Happy weekend, everyone.